welcome to the Final Cut. So glad you could join us today. You know, not every new release to VOD is a new film. Sometimes they're older films that are finally getting a proper release. And that is the case with today's film, which is Fair Game, this Ozploitation film brought to us by director Mario Andreacchio. And we get the story of Jessica, who runs this nature preserve out in the Australian outback, protecting kangaroos and other critters, cockatoos, and all this wonderful creatures. She's taking care of these critters by herself while her man is out on a trip. Well, while she's taking care of these critters, she crosses paths with 3 local poachers. And these guys really want some of these creatures on her land, and she wants to try to protect the creatures. And we see how these two clash in a very violent way over as they go back and forth, jabbing at each other until things and tensions build up into a very dramatic and brutal finale. Yeah, this is a fun film. I mean, it ticks off all your exploitation elements. You've got a lower budget, smaller cast. It is very gritty looking. You've got your gratuitous nudity in here. You do have some blood and extra violence in here, and things do get a bit crazy. So it ticks off all those boxes in a very good way, in a very entertaining way, especially if you like Ozploitation films. Now, Jessica is played by Cassandra Delaney, and I really enjoyed her performance in here, who is a woman who has some vulnerability to her, but she's really also got a lot of strength. And I give props to this character for giving as well as, you know, as much as she was taking. She took a lot of abuse at the hands of these poachers, but could also give back as well. And she does it in some creative ways, especially with how she first gets back to them as far as what she does with their guns, which I thought was creative and hadn't quite seen that done before. The hunters do sleep quite soundly, which is a good thing. But yeah, it was very interesting. There are some interesting creative things that they do in here. There are some tension-filled moments. It's got a bit of a Mad Max feel to it as well. When you look at the way they have the truck designed for the poachers, it looks like it was not quite a winning design that they wanted to put in Mad Max, but they felt to put in this film. So I like that they have a very kind of crazy vehicle that growls at certain points in the film. They play with the sound effects as well, which made me smile. Now, the 3 poachers that we get that she clashes with, there's Sonny, played by Peter Ford. He's the good-looking yet crazy guy who leads this trio of poachers, and you know, he's the charismatic one who you wonder exactly, you know, looks can be deceiving, and I always like what they do with that with a character, and he is one of those characters. Then there's Ringo, played by David Sanford. This guy is just batshit crazy. He is insane, and he's the one that really wants to do mean and nasty things to Jessica right away, but is held back by Sonny. Because Sonny's the alpha of the group, so what he says goes. So he manages to keep Ringo under wraps for the most part, but occasionally lets off the leash, and we see what happens there with Ringo. And then there's Sparks, played by Gary, who is the tech guy. He's the slightly more overweight guy. He's not really crazy. He's still a creeper, though, for sure. And all 3 of these individuals are despicable, though, and you really don't want any of them to have accomplish anything. You really want to see bad things happen to them. Again, there are some of those gratuitous moments in here that may turn some people off or go, oh my God, especially when you look at it through 2022 eyes. But when you look at the fact this was made in mid-80s, I thought it was made well. It's got a lot of tension-filled moments. The ending really gets crazy. A little bit of Home Alone going on in there, only in the outback. And yeah, it's a fun film. It really is. If you like this sort of thing, this kind of grindhouse film, you should check it out. Out now on VOD and I think physical media. Fair Game, it's called, and it's worth a watch, especially if you're a fan of this type of films. It's going to be right up your alley. And that'll about do it for us here in the Final Cut. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please check out our Patreon. We got some great tiers for very low prices. Subscribe, bells and whistles, all that here on YouTube. I thank each one of you for support. And until next time, remember, as always, keep that ticket stub.